Alright, here's a bumper I popped out of the mold, guys, and I went around with the screwdriver, made sure I find all the little air pockets on this 90-degree bend here, and I do that all on all the bends, all the little down here and even on the inside, right around here. Find all the little air pockets to fill. That way when you guys come over here and paint your bumper, you won't have any problems in the future of having it in the sun and having paint chip, because that's what's going to cause a paint chip. And fiberglass is having an air pocket underneath, and then you miss it and you paint over that, and then the sun gets it and then it cracks, and that's when you get a paint chip in fiberglass anyway. So this is ready for filler. I still got to trim the edge, but yeah, it's pretty much ready for the filler stage, which is filling in all the little imperfections and sanding down this mold line. And usually I put a nice skim coat on that mold line every time to get it perfect. Alright, got the bumper trimmed out. All the edges are trimmed, and I also sanded the inside as well, so when I primer it, it'll stick better and you won't cut yourself on anything sharp in there. Alright, just put some filler on all my little imperfections that I found. Alright, you can see inside as well. I know it looks like a lot of filler, but really it's not that much, because once you sand it off, it's just, you saw how small that little pocket was. Alright guys, I've been using this 180 grit made by, I guess it says RhynoDry, red line. It works okay. It doesn't last very long. I have to change it out quite a bit. Like to do a bumper, I have to do probably 2 or 3 of these, sometimes 4. So I got some new 3M blue colored. This is the Stikit by 3M 180 grit. I'm gonna go and use this on a bumper. I'm sanding down this bumper here. I'm gonna use this one and not this one, and I'm gonna let you guys know if this is any better than the cheaper stuff that I bought. And right off the bat, just by rubbing the finger on this one feels a lot less coarse. This one feels a lot more finer, and this feels, I guess, fine too, but it's like more smooth. This one feels a lot more gritty than this one. Alright, so half of the bumper I use this RhynoDry brand 180 grit, and it works okay. But now I'm going to try out this 3M stuff. I'm going to switch this over to the blue, and I'm going to do the other half of the bumper with that and see how that does compared to the Rhino. And you can see I filled in a few more spots that I found after the first sanding pass. There's always going to be a few more spots that you have to put filler on, and that's what you see right there. But after I sand those pieces, this half is done, ready for primer. So let me go and work on this other one with this blue stuff. I'll take this one off. Alright, so the 3M Stikit, the blue one, it sands a lot better than the RhynoDry brand. I noticed with this sandpaper takes me about, I don't know, I'd say 4, usually takes me usually about 5 hours to sand down a whole bumper. You know, that's getting the filler out and sanding the filler and everything. But this one, I noticed it cut my little filler spots a lot quicker. So I finished this in half the time. So I don't think I'm going to be using that other brand once this rolls out. I'm going to stick to 3M. I tried to save some money in the past, and it just ends up costing you more labor, more work hours. So that's all I'm going to say on that. And you can see after I'm done, okay, this still has grit. I can still feel it with my finger. This one, it's nearly smooth. On the finger, I don't feel anything. It just feels too smooth. So you're going to go through these a lot faster than the blue ones. These aren't going to last you. And the sticky part is way too sticky on this one for some reason. Way too sticky. And this one peels off a little bit better. It doesn't get stuck on there like the other one does. I mean, some of these, even especially these 80 grits, these can be very sticky. Off-brand ones of these. Anyways, that's my review on this 3M Blue abrasive sheet roll. That's what they're calling it. 3M Stikit attachment. Okay, it's the blue one. I don't know if it has a special name, but model number 36221 at the top there. Definitely like this better than that Dyno brand. As far as the finish, I'd say the Dyno brand is a little bit more finer than the 3M. The 3M seems to scratch it a little bit. It's a little more coarse than the Rhino. The Rhino seems to, the abrasive seems to break down quicker, so then you end up sanding it and it's more like a, I'd say like a 220 grit. The 180 gets to like a 220. And this one seems to keep its 180 grit throughout. Alright, there's the seam line. Just put a real thin coat of filler. Most of it didn't even need none, but I just put it on anyway. It'll sand off if it doesn't need it. Really only saw a couple of imperfections here, but again, I just like to do the whole thing just in case. There it is right there. Looking real good. Alright guys, there's the bumper finished, sanded. All imperfections in the layup has been filled and sanded out again and again. And this thing's perfect. It's ready for shooting some primer on it. You can see that seam line right here. Smooth that over. Didn't need much, but I'd rather fill that in just in case there's any voids or little pinholes or anything that I missed. Alright. It's nice and smooth. I always go over it with my hand, make sure I check everything's smooth on it, because you'll feel an imperfection or a high spot or a low spot with your hand. Okay, so this thing looks good. It's ready for primer. So I'm not going to primer it tonight, it's a little bit late. Alright, that's the bumper, ready for primer. Next video will be the bumper in primer. This is Jacob, Night Rider Shop.